we all three of us painted. And Esther was a wonderful free spirit. I guess that's the best way to. Very loving, very free spirit. And Glen got a little studio on Cornelia Street, right near Esther's. And at that time, we were doing the Washington Square outdoor show. But that was only twice a year. And though we painted a lot, we went out to, it's a wonderful ship's graveyard over on Staten Island. Esther, Glen, and I used to trek over early in the morning. Three of us over to the ship's graveyard and paint, then come home, or we'd go to Coney Island, paint in Coney Island, or we would go down in the south part of the village over toward Hudson River. There are a lot of warehouses for produce, and on Sundays, of course, they're all empty. We used to go there and paint a lot, go up to Central Park and paint. And if possible, if we could loop somebody in, because the times were very desperate in those days. The subway was a nickel. It was very bad times, money-wise, for everyone. In between times, I had started casting very thin layers of clay, which I then would break up into shards and paint little pictures on them, which I then used either for pins or I was able to do the casting of the clay very thinly because I did it on plaster Paris. But she, on her own, did not have the resources I had, so she started making little clay plaques. She did her marvelous little women on. We did underglaze painting. They sold for $1. They sold very well. And we placed them in a couple of shops around the village. And then we did doing the outdoor show with our paintings. We also sold ceramics. 9 times out of 10 it was ceramics sold, not the painting. Another lady at the time that was rather successful was an artist named Margaret Layton, Layton. And Margaret lived down over on Bleecker Street. She had a house. And she was one of the first to paint the little, what I call American French scenes, the little houses with the little window boxes in front with the flowers and the little signs. Not what Esther and I would consider fine art, commercial art. Sure enough, Margaret got several commissions from hotels and all because work started being lithographed. And Margaret was always trying to get Esther and I to be a little bit more commercial, and it wasn't our way. There was a wonderful period in New York, especially in the village. There was a poet named Maxwell Boatime. Then from the 30s, and Esther used to regale us, and I remember this was in the early 50s, she regaled us about the 30s and 40s because obviously it was a pretty wild time, and Max had been a very chic poet at that time. Well, by the time we knew him, he was reduced to what we call a street person, and in those days, for Xerox, they used to mimeograph. He used to have his little poems mimeographed, but he'd sell them for like 10 cents a poem. And Esther would tell us all about her wild days. She seemingly had a sister, but the sister was very disapproving of Esther's lifestyle.